So that way you can fight for your privacy, present your offer.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how to deal with this today. Well, come on, how many times have we experienced that? We feel like we're getting stalled.
And
Like in this way,
has that.
how do you deal with it? How do you confront that? And confront your that. But not my cousin. It's my cousin. It's not always about the price.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be something.
You have to make it. Then you go, how do you go?
Anyway, right now, what's some representative designs that you have on notice that, when they're selling your target, so I brought one for you, whichever, what's the best one of the ice cream movie, but I'm trying to do it.
Mine.
I like, okay, fine. That's fine, okay, so you can see on the back, like, you dropped the SSON for her, that's just hard. You have no out of it. She had the cutest, oh, you mean that she only has one next time? Well, but her real name is Alfred, so it's you. Oh, it does not hear it. This is, do you want to keep this one? No. But this is what he goes by now, like, him like on, and everything else. And she's, yeah, like on her, she's fine. Oh. And so, I said, these are the things, it's very,
How's been your week?
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Take your time. Take your time.
I think I will. A lot.
How's business for everybody this year?
I look like I'm just losing things left and right already. They're only starting to stay.
Well, you know what? After today, or after today, it'll be even better. You won't lose a single thing.
We are not, obviously, we're here because we're so busy.
Oh, I'm like, wait, obviously you're here just because you have nothing better to do. Is that what you're telling me?
No, because I'm not, no, I mean, how is the business? I'm like, we're not busy out there, right? So we're here. Right.
Well, we gotta get you busy. You gotta start marketing.
And that is why, with my background, I have 32 years of a commercial mortgage underwriter by trade.
Okay.
So because of that, because of my age and COVID, I can't get a job back with that again in commercial real estate. So I went back and I got my real estate license that I had 30 years with. So I am working a job, quote, but I need now to take this time to get prepared and learn. She knows everything, but she always says, no, I need to. So the analysts need more information.
Well, I
She needs
mean,
more information.
I will say information is good. Just personally, because you can't learn everything about this business, right? But you should know enough by now. I mean, 30 years in the business, whether it's commercial or residential. If you've got your fundamentals down, get out there and get business, because that's your challenge right now, right?
Yeah.
That's what everybody's been complaining about this year.
What?
About getting business,
Yeah.
right? How do you present yourself, show value to your sellers? You know, pretty soon you gotta, I mean, even now, you should start marketing to your buyers and showing, you know, that you know your market, right? Which is good for this class because you want to be able to be up to date on what's going on, right? It's one thing to be able to run your searches. It's another thing to actually know what type of market you're in, you know, at a shop. And this is just going to add to your tool belt. Now, I will say, if you're talking about marketing, right now you're looking at anywhere from 9 to 12 months on return on investment. So if you haven't been marketing right now, just know it's going to take some time, right? Now, not saying that you're not getting business or what have you, but if you're really wanting this business to cook, you've got to be able to market consistently to talk about stuff. Yes, we are doing a Zoom. I'm recording today's meeting. I'm subtitling it, which is great because when you're in an office environment and you can't hear the sound, at least you can see our words. Okay, so the camera's over here. I'm just gonna, let's see if I can make it zoom in on me here. Let's see. There we go. Because we don't need a full body shot of me, that's just horrible to see, but at least a headshot is great. Yeah, there I am.
So. which program are you using this? Everything you say?
Zoom,
Just this is what you say.
yep, on top of everything else. Now, one thing I didn't enable today was AI. It's called otter.ai. So you probably have heard ChatGPT, AI. That's another thing that, of course, the vast amount of learning. It's great for taking notes. So the free version will allow you to have up to 30 minutes of notes, whereas the paid service, which is about $12 a month, unlimited notes. So what's nice about a Zoom meeting is this program will automatically indicate who said what when, and even paraphrase or say, okay, the overall meeting
Wow.
summary is XYZ. So it's like having, again, a nice personal assistant, because in your day-to-day lives of 9 to 10 businesses all in one, AI is there to help you, with those types of tools.
What do you call it? Otter?
Otter.ai,
Yeah, I have,
OTTER.ai.
with the Zoom I have, because I have another small business, and so when I have people on there, it monitors it with my connection with the people. It tells me, it'll give me a summary of this person interacted more by the site, by the look, everything they know how to interact with those people better.
There's, if you're doing it on LinkedIn, I think it's called Crystal.
Mine's
So,
on Zoom.
okay, awesome. So yeah, if you're a LinkedIn social media Crystal, it's kind of scary, because what it'll do is it'll say, oh, to talk, it'll judge them about their personality based on what they've posted on Zoom on the disc platform. Are they a D, an I, an S, or a C, or a combination? And then it will make you suggestions, like if you want to talk to them professionally, you should say it this way. If you want to talk to them personally, you should say it this way, to have better interactions. I think anything like that to help you understand how to engage with clients is always good. Now we can go down the rabbit hole on AI and talk about a whole bunch of fun stuff all day long.
I know for me, I need to find out where I want to market, right? Do I market in my area because it's very saturated? But a lot of people down on my street, we have very seldom homeowners, and one of them out of 8. Most everybody else been all investors. All investors have been buying in my neighborhood. My little section in this HOA here, they hardly ever come up for sale.
Now, that you got to be careful of that, right? If it's in an HOA, because unlike condos, are they FHA approved? And now all of a sudden, certain stipulations still stay FHA approved as owner occupancy. So if you get more investors renting it out, they could lose their FHA approval, which now, even for first-time home buyers, right? Those are great things to actually engage with people. Like, you want to sell them to an investor for the quick cash, or you want to sell it to another homeowner. And that's something to even talk about the HOAs, because I've got a whole.
Yeah, all my HOAs are agents that have also purchased in the area. They own several homes. And even in the homes, the area that I'm in, my local little area, 100, 200, a lot of them have done Airbnbs, they've done them.
Short-term rentals, even though the city probably doesn't allow for it, it's.
One guy marketed his house as a 2-bedroom apartment. It was a condo, exterior entrance, and then downstairs like an office. Well, he blocked them off, and now he sold it as a 2-bedroom apartment. Well, you can't do that.
Why not?
But they did, it's part of the HOA.
Mm.
You have to, if you can, you have to be owner occupied and you can rent out. If he was renting it out. But this one down here, there's only a half bath. Probably put in an access to the garage, so he made a garage, probably added.
Well, nowadays with the Wild West, with the ADUs, like homeowners build ADUs, not builders build more affordable housing. It's kind of crazy nowadays.
It has nothing to do with affordable housing.
Nothing. I mean, well, it's California's trying to figure out what to do with people. Now they're thinking about and double check with your laws, because there's word down the pipe that, hey, they're going to look at if you're a homeowner that's got multiple bedrooms, but it's just you, or maybe you and your spouse, then you should be obligated to rent out your rooms in your home.
No. Well, I have my bedroom. That's my office.
But those are things that you as a realtor and the realtor party really need to be involved with, right? You all saw the red alerts these past 2 days. They're looking at getting rid of Prop 13.
Yes.
So reach out to your senator and say no on that vote. Don't get rid of it.
I mean, I would.
'Cause it's
in
this
the current
close.
Situation, I could not afford to rent my private taxes.
Yeah.
The scary thing is a lot of those people in Sacramento that are voting are not homeowners.
Mm-mm.
They don't own property and they're angry and bitter about the fact that other people are and have been there a long time and have low taxes. So it's scary.
Yeah, it's not just that, it's the houses my house has doubled in 17 years, doubled.
Well, we're gonna look at a bunch of fun stuff like that today. Because we gotta think about that, because we're gonna talk about a lot of things, especially why it's hard to even get a seller to even convince them. But we gotta come up with these strategies. Marketing, this is gonna be huge. You gotta come up with these unique strategies. So with that said, I know we're a little bit past the hour, but we got a lot of fun stuff to go over today. I apologize. Real quickly, good morning, everybody. Just so if you don't know who I am, my name is Anthony. I work here at Orange County Realtors. Been here now for almost 21 years. Started off in the MLS department. Guaranteed I've spoken to everybody regarding rules, regulations, violations, all that fun stuff. Let me turn off the lights so you can see. What I'm also involved with is our outreach program. Our outreach program is designed to give you training on all your tools and products. So not only do I train on MLS, how to run searches, how to modify listings, create CMAs, but I also train on zip forms. I am zip form certified trainer. So I show you the basics of zip forms. If you haven't been in zip forms lately, they do have a new platform that they're trying to release, even though Lone Wolf did get bought out by another company, which now means that zip forms is owned by another new company. So the fate of zip forms is in the balance, right? But I also love training on tech. I love showing agents how they can utilize their technology tools, their free member benefits, this, that, and the other to better your real estate lives. My whole goal is to help you guys and gal go paperless in your business. Okay. And usually what I mean by that is maybe not get rid of paper fully, because I see a lot of note taking today, but maybe get rid of enough of it to make your real estate lives easier. I love showing agents how they can utilize their tablet mobile devices for MLS access, zip forms access, writing up contracts, signing contracts, and of course, your presentations, just to even, talk about a few of those things. Anybody here with a presentation, listing presentation or buyer's presentation yet? Anybody know what a listing presentation is?
Yes.
Oh, got it. All right, a couple of you.
We have one on a tablet, is that what you're saying?
Do you have one at all? Do you have a PowerPoint, a keynote, a Google Slides?
I used to have a folder that I would go through, but I actually don't really do that anymore
Why not?
because it hasn't been necessary.
Okay, you're absolutely right. It hasn't been necessary until today, right? Because nobody's listed. So what do you do when you do get an appointment?
What do I do? Well, honestly, most of the people we go see, they just list with us because they know us. We have good credibility.
That's good.
But
That's
I mean,
something.
I like the idea of a tablet presentation for sure, and I have started working on one, and my company had one, and I think it would be nice to just kind of go through the basics of people versus just talking it out, which is what we do.
Well, and I will say that part of your presentation today is not just the traditional seller presentation. Now with those lawsuits and the laws and all this other stuff that's in the flux about what do we do in the divorce of commission, we now got to start thinking about what we need to do in order to have a presentation for our buyers too. Now, part of that presentation is knowing your market, right? This is where Faststats and Infosparks is going to come in. What is it? Essentially, Faststats and Infosparks is OC Realtors and CRMLS's free member benefit of statistical information. And what's beautiful about this is that it uses 100% MLS data. It's updated each and every month for the prior month of information. And it's encouraged to get that information out there, right? Because the better we know the market, the better we can talk with people, right? Because honestly, how many of you are dealing with clients right now? Anyone? A couple of you. Clients? How many of you have clients? Not yet? You will. Because really, one of the very challenges that you all have each and every day with all your clients is they go to those public websites. How accurate are those public websites? Honestly, right? Because they go, well, geez, they say my home's worth $1 million for my 400 square feet, 1 bedroom, 1 bath on a 500 square foot lot, right? Well, funny enough, they are totally public about how inaccurate their information is. Now, funny enough, if we look at this to active properties in the Los Angeles, Anaheim, Orange County, LA County area, to be within 20% of its price, to be 98% accurate. Now you think, well, geez, that's pretty accurate, right? To be within 20%. Well, if we think about that, 20% positive, 20% negative, that's a 40% gap. So if they say your home is worth about $1 million, give or take 20%, that's a $400,000 gap in your largest ever owned asset. Now, most people don't dive down to actually see how inaccurate this information can be. Right? And I don't think anybody in here wants to play with a $400,000 value in your largest ever owned asset, right? Exactly. Especially, we were just talking about, you've got investors. No investor would want to lose 40%, right?
I had owner of Zillow ended up selling his house for like 27% below assessment.
Just saying.
Isn't that sad?
No.
Isn't that sad? Especially because they want to be an all-in-one shop. They have their own escrow, they have their own title, they have their own lenders, they have their own contracts. When they want to buy a homeowners, you can actually go in there right now. Watch all their fees. They go, oh, it's so easy to do, right? Well, look at all the fees that a person has to go through. On average, 15% document fee. A document, 15%. What do you charge? Anywhere from what? 5 to 10%? So a client,
15% of the sales price they're charging?
which is they're calling it a document. On top of, if they do the iBuyer, then they do their own appraisal. That can come in not what their initial offer was, which then gets price adjusted, which could be another 10 to 20%. When all is said and done, homeowners who are selling to companies like that are leaving a lot of money on the table, especially if they just listen to them, right? This is why consumers need to listen to you, the professionals. You are boots on the ground. You are there each and every day. You have access to the most accurate information at all times, the MLS. You have access to what people are actually listing their homes for, how fast they're getting into escrow based on their list prices, and of course, what people are actually willing to pay for these homes. Sad part is most agents don't know their market. Granted, we could do a CMA, but we need to go a little bit above and beyond that, because a CMA is, yes, we compare this home and other homes like that in the immediate neighborhood, which is great, but then how does the home stack up to everybody else in the other areas that we're marketing, right? How do we talk to these people? Now, using statistical data will definitely help you elevate your online presence as well as face-to-face. You're going to be able to increase your credibility because there are a lot of consumers out there that don't think that an agent is worth their weight in salt. That's true. It's true, right? And granted, we know some of those types of agents, unfortunately, but it's always that few that ruin it for the bunch. We got to show them that we know our market, which is why we need to be that trusted source. And knowing our stats and using stats to increase our credibility will also create better client interactions and, of course, expectations. Right? And I'm glad I see a lot of heads shake today. So how do we elevate your online presence for just your presence as a real estate agent? Distributing out the data. Don't be afraid to hand it out. Now, I know usually when we talk about, or when I talk about statistical data, everybody really freaks out. Oh my gosh, I got to be a statistician. No, trust me. All you need to know is at least one, maybe two stats out of all the stats that are out there. But if you know those one or two stats, it's very easy for you to become a market expert. But as we all know, a secret agent does not do a lot of business. If no one knows that you're in the business,
It's funny.
how would they ever bother you using it, right? How many of you talk to your sphere of influence? One person? She was like, okay, see what I was meaning about the secret agent? Don't be afraid. I would say about a year or two ago, when I was teaching this class, one agent goes, I never do anything on social media. Nobody knows that I'm a real estate agent on my social media. And what her number one complaint is, how do I get more business? Well, tell people. Don't be ashamed of being a real estate agent, right? How long you been in business, young lady?
33 years.
33 years, 30 years. One, excellent. So we gotta, don't be afraid. Granted, in California, 250,000 realtor agents in California. Orange County alone, we've got about 30,000. Statistically, 3 out of 4 people in the state of California have a real estate license, but not everybody practices.
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4 have their real estate license. And the entire number
Now or have had it.
have it now, but not all of them use it to practice. They got it, they didn't do anything with it. That's why there's only 250,000 active realtor agents in California.
I mean, you're talking about, we have like, what, 50 million people in California or something?
33. I think.
Okay, so you say 3 out of 4 of those have a real estate license?
I mean, when I first got mine, I had.
Or the DRE. Which is why they want to tighten up the screws about education, renewals, things like that.
Everyone I meet is probably a realtor.
Exactly.
Oh,
Or
my
well, they
friends.
at least have a license.
They're not really.
They're not really practicing,
Some not.
right? I'm sure friends, colleagues, family members.
This
I
is
just,
my-
that seems, it's an incredible step.
It is. Which is why DRE was concerned that it's so easy to get your real estate license, but then they wonder why it doesn't everybody practice, because it's work.
Well, and I've heard that one of the ways to change that is to increase the fees.
Which they have, unfortunately. But
That's not my
I will tell you, 5 years ago, I had a real estate agent. She came in, she goes, oh, you know, my friends say it's so easy and it looks super easy on TV. I can't wait to make a lot of money. I'm like, you know, it takes a lot of work to be a real estate agent and to work in the business. Oh, yeah. I know my friends just sneeze and they sell properties. 6 months later, I saw her come in. She was like, I'm quitting. This is too hard. I don't understand anything. And she left the business. So those are kind of things out there. But you know what? This is what's going to make you stand out. If you know your information, get it out there. Don't be afraid to distribute it out. Talk about it. Post it. Anybody doing social media marketing, videos, flyers, a little bit. One of the things that's a challenge is coming up with content, right?
Yes.
Content. Monthly content. Right?
I do pens. Right?
You do
And
pens.
at work, everybody loves the writing of these. And so everybody I see at work, they're all writing with these pens. And sometimes their clients take them home. I'm like, yes, please. It's
Yeah.
easier than a card.
Right. But we're talking about data, when we're talking about wanting to have substance to talk about, it's great to hand a pen, like your business card, but it's also great to give them information, right? Because the way that they leave better informed than what they were, they'll remember you even more so, right? By the way, apply your personal branding and logos to your reports. Okay, you can edit the PDF documents. There are tons of PDF editor programs that are out there. Microsoft Word is one of those. Okay, promote property stats of the area. Now, I will say that the Faststats has what they call the local market update report, which is a lovely one-page report. But they also have a deep dive called monthly indicator report for the county, which is a beautiful 15-page document showing almost 15 years of trend. Okay. And by the way, you can use this digitally or online. Makes you fully flexible for all types of clients, whether they're young, older, or our age.
Really old.
Or really, really old. Now, agents can increase your credibility by positioning yourself as the market expert, including the stats in all your marketing, whether it's online or print. By use of empirical data, it's going to complement your experience, whether it's a year, 33 years, or how long you've been in business. 4 or in between. Right? You've dealt in some fashion, with some sort of client at some point in time, right? You gained experience, whether it's positive or negative. But you can use this information to actually talk about your experience, what you see, because everybody here is going to interpret that information differently. It's funny with statistics that some of us will see positive, others will see negative. Yes.
I heard that you should try not to use the word expert because of lawsuits and use specialist instead or something else.
That's fine. I call you the market expert because you should be expertly knowing your market. And if you're diving into your marketplace and you know your listings, you know the area, that's fine. And if you don't want to use the word expert, that's okay. You know, if you just say, I'm a market specialist, well, what define me what a specialist?
Sounds better. I always thought that, but
If it sounds better to you, then do that. Then do that. As long as you can answer me, what makes you a specialist versus her being a specialist or an expert? Well, me being a specialist, I expertly know. However you can define it. If you feel that this is how you want to market yourself, great. If you want to use other words or terms, that's fine too. I just like using the word expert because I want you all to be an expert in your business. Now, by the way, using statistical data, we'll be able to answer all these questions. I know everybody in this room has at least been asked one of these questions, right? Is it a buyer seller's market? Well, you're going to look at month supply of inventory. How do property types compare? Now, funny enough, here in Orange County, single family versus condo is not really viable to compare each other. Why? Here in Orange County, we can have an attached condo, but at the same time have a detached condo. Just like we can have a single family detached property, but at the same time have a single family attached. Usually attached condos and attached single families are around the same price point, just like a condo detached and a single family detached are around the same price point. One city in particular, Irvine, is notorious for that, right? Single family, it looks like a single family, but in actuality, when you look at the tax records, it's actually a condo.
Because of the shared driveway, I share no common walls, I have a yard, common driveway, that's the only reason for that.
There's many reasons other than the county says so many square feet is the lot, right? By the way, our price is going up and down. That's the month supply of inventory. How long will it take to sell your house? Usually the days on market we can look at. How much of my asking price as a homeowner am I going to get? Well, that's the percentage being received, either the original or the current list price. And of course, how many, when do I have the most options as a buyer? We're going to look at the inventory. All these complement. And again, you don't have to know all of them, but maybe knowing a couple of them will help you out, be able to answer those questions, right? It's better than hearing or saying, well, geez, such and such said this, so I got to go with them. Well, why should I listen to you then as a potential agent if you're quoting somebody else? Right? Don't you know what kind of market you're in?
I like to put Lawrence Hughes.
Oh, that's fine. Lawrence Yun, our national economist. That's great. He definitely has credibility, but he talks about what's happening in the nation, what's happening here locally. Now, if he knows everything locally, then I'd be very impressed. But this is how you're going to use data to also manage expectations, right? Using those expectations with the various market metrics, you're going to impress your clients at appointments, whether they're listing or buying. And you're going to provide necessary education and empowerment to help that client make a well-informed decision, not an overly emotional decision. We all know that real estate is very emotional. You all are involved in people's emotions, whether you want to or not. You're buying and selling people's memories.
Wow.
right? You're helping them build those memories or helping them transition to their next stage. You are very involved in their personal lives, whether you believe it or not. Now, this is going to benefit you in several ways. It's going to help you enhance your negotiating power. How many of you ever felt like you were behind the 8 ball when you were negotiating with an agent that seemed to know their market? Or anybody ever know their market and felt that you negotiated a better deal just because you knew the market? Right? And not just with other agents, but with their clients. Right? You're going to be able to connect with those analytical personalities. Anybody here have an analytical client? Show me the numbers, right? By the way, do we also have the emotional decision makers? Well, guess what? Hey, let's take that emotion out. Here, the numbers don't lie. It's going to take you 30 days to get into escrow. Don't ask me at day 2 why we don't have a ton of offers and why we're not in escrow, right? Kind of lower that down, which, by the way, going to reduce anxiety, not just for your clients, but also for you. 30 years in the business. How many times have you lost sleep?
Over real estate?
Over real estate.
Well, not, my husband is a negotiator, so that makes it easier.
Well, there.
But
Have you ever woken yourself up in the middle of the night, worried about the client, worried about the property, right? Because they were worried.
I've had them call me in the middle of the night, trying to get a title.
Of course.
Right?
You were them.
Well,
they were-
yeah. Well, wait a minute. Let me catch up and do a few extra shots with you, right? So we can go over this again. But honestly, we're going to help reduce everybody's anxiousness, right? We take on our clients' emotions. Again, we're very involved in their personal lives. We want them to be just as successful, not just for ourselves, but we want our clients to be successful in their deal, right? So the offers, why aren't they getting accepted? Why aren't they, getting more offers? We're going to be able to help them understand that using this statistical data. Okay. Now, real quickly, anybody know the difference between a seller's market, buyer's market, and a balanced market? I see a head shake. What's the difference?
Well, a seller's market is where there's low inventory, and so there's more pressure on the properties.
Excellent. So, in very basic economic terms,
Right?
there you go, supply and demand. My first class has actually said that, supply and demand. Other people will go like, days on market, right? Prices are going up. That's what makes it a seller's market. No, so all about supply and demand. Seller's market is when you have very low inventory, high demand for that inventory. You can't get the listings fast enough. What happens? Prices start to skyrocket. Buyer's market, and I'm sorry, here in the nation, a seller's market is when you have less than 5 months worth of inventory in the MLS. Orange County, however, we are the microclimate of all real estate. What I usually mean by that is that we are the center hub of what happens to the rest of the country. You ever notice things have already happened here before it starts filtering out to everybody else outside of California or even Orange County itself? So everything starts here. Our seller's market is when we have less than 3 months of inventory. A buyer's market is when you have more supply than meets the demand. Right? Now all of a sudden prices sharply drop. A buyer's market in the country is when you have more than 6 months worth of inventory on the MLS. In Orange County, more than 4. It's tight. The balanced market is when you have enough supply that meets enough demand, right? Where you've got homes coming on and off the market at a steady pace. No longer do you get the sharp peaks or the deep valleys. Instead, you get a slow incline of appreciation. In the country, 5 to 6 months worth of supply of inventory on the market. In Orange County, between 3 and 4. So we're going to be able to determine in each of our market areas, are we dealing with a seller's market, a buyer's market, or a balanced market? Because each city, each area within a city may be a little microclimate of what's going on. Even though maybe, yes, generally, we can show that in Orange County, it's a severe anemic seller's market. Right? for a severe gluttonous buyer's market. Anybody remember 2007?
Yes.
Right? 2007, the big crash. We had more than 12,000 listings on the MLS. So, ton of inventory, not enough demand to take it, which is why we had to bottom out, right? That whole crash or whatever. Now, granted, I got to watch, what was it called? The Big Short the other day. Anybody watch that? Okay. Rewatch it and see what's going on today. Just so you know. All right. By the way, support your recommendations, compare local to regional numbers, your CMA versus the area stats versus city stats in the county. You're going to dive deeper into your niche markets. You're going to display and emphasize the stats that you are target marketing. Again, each and every one of you talk to different people. Some of you might talk to the seniors. Some of you might talk to the millennials, right? Others are in between. Some of you will see positives, some of you see negatives. Whoever you market to, that's who you attract in your business.
That's such a great point.
It is. And then people go, well, geez, I wonder why I get all the negative clients. Well, if you're projecting negativity concept, right? It is very interesting, right? But those are the types of personalities because that's
And
what we
price
attract.
points, too.
And the price points. By the way, you're going to be able to answer those emotional points of price forecasting because I like to say the trend is your friend. Because you're going to see data going back so many years to show the ups and downs, the normalities of what we've been experiencing or the abnormalities. Okay. Now, personal marketing, you versus the market averages. Maybe this young lady can sell homes in 5 days, but the market average shows 30 days. So you're going to do a marketing piece. I can sell home faster than the average agent based on the home pricing. Consider me. You want a fast sale, right?
That's a big promise.
It can be, but hey, on average, homes are getting this, but your averages based on what you've been doing in the MLS might be a little bit higher. The whole point is you can compare yourself to everyone else. By the way, be innovative with those stats. Contrary to popular belief, talking about statistical data does not have to be boring. We don't have to sound like some people where they just stand there and today the statistics and the market is going up, right? How many of you would just love to gouge out your ears, right? Or even your eyeballs for that matter. Be fun. Let your personality shine through, just like in any marketing piece. Let your personality shine through. Have fun with it. Not that you have to be mean to people, right? Anybody here mean? No, good. Everybody's sweet. Yes, excellent. All right. Be innovative with those stats. Talk about them in unique ways. Do infographics, do things like that, or just use the straight up charts and graphs, but have fun with it. You're going to be able to produce your own content. So if we're stuck, what do I talk about this month? It's going to help you come up with some topics. And if you're using AI like ChatGPT, hey, AI or based on this information for Orange County or this city in Irvine or Laguna Hills, can you draft me a quick letter citing this stat? In less than 5 minutes, you've got content that you can then modify to make it sound more like yourself. By the way, know yourself because it will show. Don't be like some of the agents that I know that just hand out the data, right? And not look at a single piece of what it is that they're handing out. Because guaranteed, the moment you hand somebody something and they go, geez, what does this stat mean? And the first answer out of your mouth is, I'm not sure. Shoot your credibility in the foot. First thing they're going to say is, why did you hand this to me then if you don't know what you're handing out? If you at least know those couple of stats, you can at least, again, answer the necessary questions. Okay. By the way, as you do this, you're going to be able to create an influential reputation, not just as a normal real estate agent, but an agent that knows their information, that knows their market. And of course, a trusted source of data. Job number 9 is that you're now an educator. An educator. You're educating people on the market. Right? It's tough enough to be a real estate agent, a negotiator, a TC, an assistant, a marketing, right? Those right there are 5 extra jobs that you're already like, whoa. But this is why you're a real estate agent. More importantly, a realtor. You're a step above beyond everybody else. When you create that influential reputation, all of a sudden you've got that strength in your negotiating power. People will now trust you. You'll negotiate better deals for your clients. More importantly, you also negotiate better commissions because you know your stuff. You're showing your value. And an agent doesn't know their value. This is why they're paid what they're worth, which is almost zero. Trust in your abilities. Trust in your abilities. Talk about it. I got too many agents nowadays that don't know their own worth. They don't know their value. And a majority of them are the discount agents. You all have bills. You've got expenses like anybody else. By the way, anybody here love working for free? Okay. Anybody here work for free? By the way, you know what that's called? Slavery. Or the more PC term, indentured servant. They got rid of that back in the 1800s. You have the right to get paid for your services. Show that. By the way, you're going to own those segments and the local market areas. This is what's going to make you that market specialist or the market expert or however you want to title yourself. Okay. All right. Now, I'm not going to bore you with how to brand this right now because I know you all are itching to see what these stats look like, right? How do I access them? So, very easy what we're going to do here. Follow me. Maybe. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply pop over into the MLS system. So here at crmls.org, we're going to log into the MLS, into our dashboard. Everybody loves the new dashboard. Yes?
Yeah.
Excellent. So here, I'm just going to log in. Now you can access it from the RE Center Hub if you wanted to. Just scroll right on down and hopefully the Infosparks tab will be here. But if it's not, no worries. Just be in Matrix. And from here, we're going to move our mouse over to the Links tab. Now, the Links tab gives us access to all of our third-party member benefits offered to us by CRMLS, OC Realtors, CAR, as well as NAR. They happen to have everything all in one place for us a lot of times. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to scroll right on down this list until we find the choice that says Infosparks. Just like so. Now, when I click on Infosparks, excuse me, a window is going to open up. And now we're going to see some amazing information here right away. We're going to see that over here in the top left corner, we're looking at the entire MLS. We're looking at the median sales price statistic. And we see that the median sales price for the entire MLS in the month of August of 2023 compared to August of 2022 is $810,000, which is up 5.2% from last year. Now, I know your first thought is that's really super low, right? Well, this is the whole MLS system. It's not just condos, it's not just single family, but we're talking about not just Orange County. Sierra MLS is not just Orange County. Sierra MLS encompasses Orange, LA, Riverside, Murrieta, I'm sorry, San Bernardino, San Diego, just to name 5 counties in and around the immediate area. Not to mention, we got information from Fresno and Bay East, which is up near San Francisco, and all this other fun stuff. More than 200,000 plus listings in our MLS database. We need to narrow this down.
Right. That's not just CRMLS.
Well, this is all of CRMLS,
I mean,
not every MLS in California. But we've got a lot. So what we're going to do here in the top left corner, where it says entire MLS, we're going to hit the little drop down arrow. From here, we can now sort data by county, zip code, city, or MLS area. So say as an example, we want the county. I can select the county, and now with my cursor blinking, I can type in, say, Orange. And now the little choice of Orange County pops up. I'm going to select it. And now we see here in Orange County, under all property types under residential, the median sales price in August of 2023 was $1,092,500, up 10, almost 11% compared to a year ago.
that's a great stat right there.
That's a great stat right there. But here, wait a minute. We're comparing attached to detached, condo, single family, right? So maybe we want something a little bit more accurate. Well, underneath the county, we've got several filters that we can apply. In this case, I'm going to choose the one that's detached. Maybe the neighborhood I'm marketing is only detached property. So I don't want to see any attached data mixed in with this number. So now when I select detached, now my median sales price now updates to show in Orange County as of August 2023 for detached properties in Orange County, $1,320,000 is the median sales price, up 10% from a year ago. Pretty amazing. Right? Anybody impressed with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Is it like 400 or something statewide or something, or maybe it's at the 570 now?
What? Oh, for the statewide detached?
Yeah, because they always market that.
Well, you got other areas that are not as popular. You've got, yeah. But here in Orange County, again, we're the microclimate, right? But it's pretty amazing that from a year ago, it's up 10%. Right? As a matter of fact, here we've got a little line graph. And if we move our mouse over the line graph, we see what August numbers are. But if we scroll through, we can see what the previous numbers were. So even just from August of 2022, we see that the median sales price was $1,200,000. But wait, if a client bought 5 years ago, back in 2018, the median sales price in August of 2018 was $840,000. Up what? $500,000 in a mere 5 years? That's $100,000 each and every year. Not too bad in regards to equity. Kind of amazing. Now, we're talking about the entire county. But maybe we want to narrow this down a little bit further to a particular city or an MLS area. Now, maybe we also want to compare the county to that city. Well, at the top left corner, next to where it says Orange County, there is a choice here that says add an area. So if I click on add an area, and this time I'm going to compare a city. What city would you all like to see today? Irvine. All right. So here I'm going to type in the city of Irvine. I'm going to reselect that filter of detached, and now we have here a comparison. The line does kind of move up, especially for Irvine, because in Irvine, if you own and live in Irvine, your median sales price is 1.85, up 15.3% from a year ago versus Orange County at 1.32. That's all detached. All detached, yeah. I can do Huntington Beach too. So here we could add another area if we wanted another side by side. And again, this time I'm going to type in Huntington Beach. So there's a little box here that says add an area. Now I can compare up to 4 different areas side by side. So here we can select Huntington Beach. Come on. Oh, did I spell beach wrong? Of course. City. Come on. I just like it when it does that. Yep. Again, detached. So we see here Huntington Beach, 1.4. Irvine 1.8, Orange County 1.3. Now we can have fun with this and say, well, geez, if you live in the city of Irvine and you sell, now you can live anywhere else in the county at 1.3, so you can almost buy something all cash with a little extra money in your pocket. But if you were living in Huntington Beach, looking to live in Irvine, you might need to come in with some money, some extra monies versus the rest of the county. So we can have this fun with these stats. And by the way, we're only looking at one stat, the median sales price. And I like to see a lot of smiles, like, ooh, I'm going to sell my home in Irvine now, right? There you go. Now, here we can compare, these things side by side. We don't even have to compare city to city. As a matter of fact, we can actually compare the county versus city versus, say, I don't know, an area like Turtle Rock, which is part of Irvine, right? So here I can find the Turtle Rock MLS area. And again, do that same type of comparison. Here in Turtle Rock in Irvine, 2.198 versus the rest of the city of Irvine at 1.8 versus the rest of the county at 1.3. So you live in Turtle Rock, you're sitting pretty. Now you can go almost anywhere in Orange County and be comfortable in buying another property.
Be comfortable with someone else.
Could be. Oh, that's something that you all would talk about a little bit more in depth, but know that you could do that. Now, if we wanted to just say one city, but now we want, other things within that city, like how do bedroom types compare? Now, here what we can do is select that filter, but maybe we want to see everything all at once under that one filter. If we click on this two-way arrow, that selects everything in that choice, and now we've got a side-by-side comparison of all the different bedroom types for this property. So we see here that a two-bedroom detached unit is up 12.9% at 964. A three-bedroom is up only 0.5% at 0.6% at 1.4, and a four or more bedroom property is at 2,075,000, up 12.5% compared to a year before. On average, all the bedroom types at 1.8. So now we have different ways of marketing, different clients to market to. Again, comparing apples to apples when it comes to these things. Anybody like that? We got the wheels turning. I see a lot of smiley faces.
So I can print this as a PDF and put in our.
I haven't gotten there yet, but yes, you can not only print it as a PDF, but you can do more. Okay. But here, I just wanted to show you this. Now, real quickly, we're just looking at one stat, right? Here we've got down below a plethora of other stats to look at, like new listing inventory. So here in Irvine, we have 121 new listings that came on the market in August, down almost 20% from a year ago. If we look at the current or the active number of listings in Irvine, it was at 153. 121 of those were brand new, but still 153 properties active, down 51.9%, almost 52% from a year ago, which is probably why it's increasing its pricing. So one could make a correlation between median or the pricing versus the inventory, right? Now, by the way, when you look at the median sales price, anybody know the difference between median and average? What's the difference?
An average is where you have all the numbers and you divide them. Right, and the
Right.
median is this, the amount above and below.
They try to go for the fair middle, right? So, in case you didn't know, the difference between average and median is very simple. So average, we take out the total number and then we divide it by that number. So as an example, if we were to take everybody's average income We take all of our individual incomes here today, and then we add them all together, and then we divide it by the number of people that are in the room. Kind of that, right? But then what happens when Bill Gates walks into the room?
Yeah.
His extreme high, or maybe my extreme low, throws that average off. Because can you imagine everybody here making $1.2 billion a year? That'd be great. It'd be really nice. Whereas a median excludes out the extreme high and the extreme low and tries to go for the exact middle. So maybe takes out my income of only $30,000 a year versus this young lady's at, $500,000 a year, and then goes with this young lady at $120,000. So we try to get those middles. So I always go for median. Again, active inventory versus median price, there's that direct correlation. Very low inventory, down 52% from a year ago, but prices are going up. So one can now market saying, still, even though active inventory went up a little bit, they're still low comparatively, right? Pending sales. Here we've got 84 pending sales that happened in the month of August, meaning people successfully going into escrow, down 20%. Why? Probably expensive. Loans probably didn't go through. People changed their minds. Interest rates went up. They priced themselves out of the market. They couldn't afford the home, right? Things like that.
And so this is for a year back, right?
This is, yes. So August of this year versus August of last year. Then unfortunately, you'd have to look on the line graph to see what your previous month.
Got it.
So the previous month was 111 properties compared to 84. So you had more sales happen in July than in August. So even August is down compared to.
And then you have to do the math yourself to find out.
Yeah, we would just divide, what is it, 111 into 84, which is probably 15 or 16% change. Yeah, something like that.
And you can go up at the top where you have the line, years, have the month, up above August. Yeah. What is
So the lines here show that we're looking at a line graph of going back 5 years. What I could do is just say 3 years, or even better yet, in this case, let's go back 1 year. Here, but it won't show you each individual month in this case, because you're still comparing August to August.
Oh,
But this would be easier for you to actually show that number above that line. Okay.
so what's the one, this down the month next to it, right next to the one?
So the monthly is great because we see these sharp peaks and valleys. With this month, what we do is we say, okay, show me the month-to-month change from each and every month versus a 3-month change,
Oh,
where all of a sudden now my lines aren't as hilly, or I should say mountainy. It's more like hills, to like a 12-month change, which now really smooths it out. Because how often do people freak out when they see something go like this?
Yeah.
Right? But if they see something like kind of slowly ebb and flow, they're not as panicked. So it's all about how you display. Okay. By the way, closed sales. Here's one. Where is it? Days on market. So in Irvine, 15 days to get into escrow. It's up 114% from a year ago. So you're selling homes faster because why? They were more affordable versus this year. Not as lower rates. Even though 15 days is nothing to shake a stick at. It's 2 weeks. How fast does 2 weeks go by in our lives? How fast does a year go by in our lives? Can you believe it's almost October? We're almost halfway through the month.
We're selling a house in another state and the average is on the market 6 months in Missouri.
There you go. It's just how people perceive it, right? So that's why we don't go by days on market being a buyer's or seller's market. We look at, where is it? Oh, month supply of inventory. Here in Irvine, 1.8 months. So are we in a buyer's or seller's market in Irvine? Sellers. Month supply.
Oh,
month
there it
supply.
is.
Just like here, if I were to click on, say, the percentage of last list price being received, homeowners are getting 99.4% of their asking price at the time that it's listed, right? Or current listing price versus the percentage of original list price received. Now, the difference between these two is when you take the listing originally and you list that price before any price changes, when it goes into escrow and closes, how much of that original asking price did you get? So my example, if I list the home at $1 million, but then we close at 800,000, how much of my original asking price did I get? 80%. Whereas that same listing listed at $1 million through its different price changes, it still closes at 800, but it was listed at 880,000. Now, how much of my percentage of my list price did I get? Closer to 90. Here we see in both cases that listing agents or homeowners are getting 99% of what they're asking for. So agents are really dialed into their market, knowing what they can get. Now, this is great for a potential buyer because now the buyers who go, I want to just lowball it. Why aren't I getting my offers countered? Well, that's because you're lowballing it 100, 200, sometimes $300,000. Homeowners are getting almost 100% of their asking price. If you want to be in the game, you got to up your price. Until that changes, or something drastic changes to the inventory, that's what we're doing. And that's not to mention the interest rates. That's a whole nother discussion, right? All right. Now, how do we get this data out here? Well, we can share it. Now, before we share it, we're looking at a line graph. Now, when it comes to sharing data, I personally dislike a line graph because, as you noticed, I can't go through each and every month to show these different comparisons, right? Not to mention when I go to print this out, this is exactly what I'm going to see. So a lot of times I'm not going to understand the numbers and the exact numbers, right? This is where I'd like to change it from a line graph to a bar graph. So if I come over here to the right middle and I select from line to bar, what I like about this is that it gives me, and we'll go back to the median price here. What I like about this is that it shows me August of this year versus August of last year versus the August of the year before. And it gives us what that number is right at the very top. So this is a great, easy thing. Now, what I love about this is that from this year to this year, it's up 15%. But this versus 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it's up rapidly. What, 25%? It's still amazing. And then, yes, if you wanted to do the line graph to say, well, geez, if you bought back in 2018, you gained $500,000 in equity in Irvine. And of course, everybody, oh, is it the public pop of recession? Well, the inventory says otherwise. Low inventory. Right? Now, to share this out, we're going to come back over here to that top middle. We're going to click share. And when we click share, we have several ways of sharing this data. First, we can either choose a PDF or a social media style post. That's a static report. So when I click on share, I can now get a link that I can copy and paste, or even better yet, I have a PDF file. Now, what's nice about this, you'll notice that branding is automatically applied. Where did this branding come from? My roster in the MLS. If you go under add edit, under the listing section, there is a roster section. Make sure your roster is up to date with your phone numbers as well as your photo. It should have your company logo based on your user ID, based on the company you're with. So right away, I automatically have a branded report that I can give out for this one particular staff. Now, if I'm really cool in my marketing, I'm going to download this PDF, use PDF editors because I'm going to go back Whoop, I'm going to go back. I'm going to start all over and choose another stat. And another stat, and another stat. And then with my PDF editor, merge them all together. Maybe convert them into picture files and use PowerPoint or Keynote. Shrink the pictures. Now I have multiple pictures outlining that for my presentation or presentations. Or even better yet, social media or video.
I like it.
You like it? Good.
Yes, I like it.
Now, how many of you have a website? Some of us, right? Okay, let me ask.
For 20-some years, they go, oh, we're going out of business. So
Oh, that's not good.
I know, and they just pulled it down, so I don't.
If you have a website, the pitfall of a website is this, or an agent website is this. It's just got your name. It's got an about section. It might have a couple of featured listings, but that's pretty much it, right? Maybe an IDX feed or something like that, right? To try to capture leads. But then what makes you different from anybody else? If every agent out there has the same exact website, what makes you stand out? Information, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're a web designer yourself or you're working with a web designer, what I love about this is that there's a choice here called share or undershare. There is a choice for an embedded link. Now, right now I have it set to static. Now, static says that if I click on this share, I now have a link that I can now copy and paste and send to my web designer. But now a month comes, or a month later, I now got to come back into Infosparks, recreate a new one, resend it out to get it updated on my website. How many of you love to do something like that?
So
There we go. Yes. So if instead, in this case, I go live for an embeddable link for my website, now what happens is I'm going to have that data automatically updated each and every month for that particular statistic. So today they see August. Come next month, they'll see September. The month after that, automatic.
But on the same link,
So we're going to actually send several links to my web designer. Now, stay with me. On your website, you have a web page, Irvine, maybe another sub page, Tustin, another page, Huntington Beach, right? Now, there in the middle, maybe you have your featured listings by the company, by you, of what's listed, right? Because you can do that. So there you've got the properties in the middle of the screen, but then to the left and the right, you tell your web designer to post these stats. So for Irvine, you got on both sides of the listing all the various different charts, median sales price, active inventory, percentage of list price being received, all this stuff. Same thing for Huntington Beach. So now your website is providing what? Information. It's great that you're providing what's active out there, which anybody can find on any website, Realtor.com, Redfin, Zillow, your company website. But now you're providing even more in-depth statistical data, which now you become a source of information. If you become a source of trusted information, people will gravitate to you more than anybody else. Because they're going to look at the other agents that aren't doing this and go, gosh, they don't give me anything. I want to know more. But then all of a sudden, a couple of people, hey, try out this person's website. This is what I saw. This is great information. Now, guess what? You might get a call. Hey, I saw this stat. Can you tell me a little bit more about what's happening in Irvine or Huntington Beach or wherever else? Yes.
You can create something like this where you can create a link to grab inventory for landing page. So you want more information, you click it, there's there, and then once
Capture
you
the
click it,
lead.
they give you everything, then you just send it off to them once they give you your email address.
You can do it whatever, however you need to capture their, because the whole point of the website is to have a hub, a central place where everybody goes to for all the data about you and for you to grab information about them to be able to contact them and meet their real estate needs. The idea of going to a third-party website provider and hope and pray that somebody calls you from a list of 100,000 plus agents is crazy money to spend. It's good money if you convert the leads, but you know what? That shouldn't be the only place that they go. Because what are they going to do? They're going to get another agent each and every time. You direct them to your personal website, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok or whatever you're doing. Hey, check out my website. Go here, scan my QR code. Get redirected to my website for more information and up-to-date statistical data on the areas you're more concerned about. Oh, anybody like that?
So when you, from a client perspective, can you change or you're getting?
There is a choice here to allow them to change data,
Okay.
so they could pick out a different stat. But if you're putting up all the stats anyway, there's no need for them to change anything. Right?
If they
And
get the interactive, and they move to any city they want to, like,
they could,
do
they
they have
could.
access almost to the same information?
Yeah, I would just.
but it'll be branded to you. So guess where they're not going to be directed to? Some other agent or some other company. It's to you. Sure, interactive's fine, but if you're giving that data for each and every city that you're marketing in, maybe you do have something for county or the county comparisons, and then you make it interactive so they can deep dive into the individual cities or the MLS areas of the cities. Then I don't see that being a problem, but it's up to you. Your world is your oyster. That's the nice part. All right. Now, this is just looking at one stat, but this is updated data constantly. Now, wouldn't we like to have something all together all at once? Hopefully, right? This is where Faststats come in. By the way, are there any questions on Infosparks? Anybody excited about this today? Anybody going to use this today?
Today, maybe not, maybe tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine. Tomorrow, as long as you look at it and actually start to use it.
So, yeah, I have a question. So, say I go into this, we are in September now,
Uh-huh.
September 12th. If I went into this September 1st, active listings would be different than if I would have access to today.
Yeah,
Right?
But
That's the only thing that changed.
that might
Right.
change, right? But I mean, I
Everything
would say that
else
it
is based on
reliably
the previous
updates on the 3rd of every month.
The part of every month.
The 3rd of every month reliably. And sure, you might get some change, like there might be 1 or 2 extra listings that would, be in the pending or closed, only because as things close out or agents update their listings. Because again, it's only as good as it being up to you. You won't get that much of a difference. So. Excuse me. Yeah, it's not going to be substantial. It's not like you're missing hundreds of listings.
So you think the 3rd month is the right date to do it?
About the 3rd. About the 3rd. At least for Infosparks, because again, it's live. Now, what I'm going to show you next, the Faststats, the one-page reports, that does take a little extra time. That's usually updated on our website, ocrealtors.org, around the 5th or 6th of every month.
Right.
But they take the data on the 1st. So it takes some time to put together the PDFs. So you will notice a difference between Faststats and Infosparks, but again, it won't be overly substantial. Okay. Now, how do we access Faststats? Okay, because we would love to have all these stats on just one page. Well, we can do this in 2 ways. Number one, we're going to first go to ocrealtors.org. From here, we're going to move our mouse to where it says resources. Drop down menu appears. We're going to click on business tools. When we click on business tools, this gives us some little tiles here, one of which says OC Faststats. When we click on OC Faststats, we're now going to log into ocrealtors.org's website. Now, your user ID and your password, pretty easy. Here, the user ID should be what you're using for the MLS. Now, the password, however, should be your 4-digit PIN number to your E key. Okay. Now, when we say log on, here we get to see in OC Faststats, Orange County, and of course, all the cities within Orange County, going all the way up to Long Beach and all the way down to San Clemente. Now, what's cool about this is that if I say click on Orange County, we got a nice, lovely one-page report here. Month of August, attached versus detached data, new listings, pending sales, everything all on one page, which is nice. Because what I can now do is download this and use a PDF editor to brand it with my branding. PowerPoint, Keynote, easiest way to do this. Now, besides Orange County data, we can actually click on the actual individual city, like Irvine. Here we can look at Irvine's report. Here again, attached versus detached. We see here Irvine 1.85 versus 1,600,000 of the median sales price, up 15.3%, yada, yada, yada. Or even better yet, we can go to the individual areas within the city. Now, the ones that are grayed out are not incorporated areas just yet to receive data from the MLS. But these are potential areas that eventually, as resales begin to happen in these areas, these will then start to light up, which is kind of amazing how many new areas were added. I will say Great Park wasn't there last year. Well, but here, if we click on, say, like Quail Hill, we actually get to see the statistical data for Quail Hill. Now, it's funny because you go, oh, well, it's attached. You only got one. Well, of course, that's going to be 100% or 100% decrease. Because why? Individual areas, you're now dealing with smaller amounts of data, which now statistically goes really volatile. But this is great for a CMA. How's this home compared to the rest of the area? So here, a home is 2.85 versus CMA maybe at 3.2 versus the rest of the city at 1.8. So again, we have these different layers of our onion for our client. Now, the analytical person in the room. We have the monthly indicator report. We want to show the trend is your friend, right? And maybe you want to deep dive into the county information. Here, when I click on the monthly indicator report, we're going to look at all of Orange County. And now we're going to see this beautiful report open up, this beautiful 15-page report. Right out of the gate, you see a nice little paragraph that was created of Orange County versus the rest of the nation. We get to see the median sales price for detached, attached, combined, and their changes from a year ago. By page 2, we're going to start off with detached information, new listings. August of 2022 compared to August of 2023, their month versus year change, the rolling 12 months, and their changes. Now, what I like about this is that we also get to see a nice little bar graph going back about 3 years of the ups and downs. Now, by the way, this is by page 2, because we got the same information for page 3, but for the attached market. But then by page 4, we're now going to start deep diving into the individual stats. So for new listings, attached versus detached, their month-to-month change, their positives for each and every month. So you wanted to show something like September of 20 or August of 2023 versus July of 2023. You can show that change, right? Which is kind of nice. But even better yet, I love the line graph. So 2023 going back all the way to 2000, so 20 years worth of information. What I love about this, January to December, we see the ups and downs of the market. What does it show? Beginning of every year, we got low inventory or new listings coming on the market. And by mid-year, we usually get a plethora of them. People tend to list the most in the middle of the summer. Then by towards the tail end of the year, people start to diminish on what they're listing, right? And it looks fairly normal, even though the amount of listings change. This is great for something or for a potential seller. When's a good time to list? Beginning or tail end of the year or in the middle of the year? Depends. You got everybody else wanting to list at the same time. So what does that mean? If there's going to be more inventory, you're probably going to need to drop your price to be a little bit more competitive. Versus the beginning or the tail end, not as much competition. Maybe you get a little bit more. Depends on what we do to market, right? Now, we were talking about the pricing. So here we got the closed sales. I love doing this. The median sales price. I love this chart here. Today, 2023, back to 2003, because everybody's talked about the recession. Everybody's talked about the bubble, right? Well, look at this. Because everybody goes, oh, I think we're about to hit another bubble, right? Well, look at 2020 or 2003. Median sales price was just a little over 400,000. As a matter of fact, I think it was 440,000 for a median sales price detached property. Then by 2007, the median sales price was just about 750, 755. Then the bubble popped. Now, everybody in the world has said 2012 was the bottom end of the market, right? Remember how I was saying Orange County is a little bit different? We're the what? Epicenter of everything. Our bottom end of the market was actually 2009. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't talk about. If you look at the last bottom in 2009, was it below 2003? No. As a matter of fact, it was still slightly above what the bottom low was. So what does this say? Sure, we might go through the ups and downs of our market. We might have a recession here and there and a bubble pop, this, that, and the other. But one thing that's nice is hopefully, unless something major happens to housing, homes will always appreciate. Right? I think here in Orange County, we're what? 400,000 units below what we should be. So the one thing that they're not building fast enough or quick enough or most enough is homes. So homes will always appreciate. They'll never sink below, or hopefully never sink below their previous bottom. Now, from here, we saw a quick spike in 2013 to where we're at today. A lot of people go, well, geez, should we be going through this? Remember how I was saying we could use two stats together? We showed that in Infosparks. Well, here, what we can now do is come down below to inventory. The inventory for homes for sale, and the inventory speaks volumes. So going back to 2003, we had about 400,000 or 4,000 detached properties for sale at 440,000. Then at 755,000 in 2007 to 2008, we had more than 12,000 properties on the MLS. And the bubble, right? And even in 2009, we still had more than 8,000 properties on the market. Look at where we're at today. So we can make the argument that because of our low inventory is why we have high home prices today. We are what? A third or a fourth of what we were back in our previous peak. Our previous peak of 12,000 properties to today's just a hovering above, 2,000. Actually, that's a sixth of what we had. Not very much inventory, not very much choice, total seller's market. And we've been like that for several years. Heck, even back in 2016-17, we hit above 6,000. That's still a third of what it was back just 7 years ago? Until this starts to change is when we start getting worried. We can make that argument. Anybody like that?
Yeah.
Good. You can utilize all these fun little charts and graphs.
What is this called?
This one's called OC Faststats, the monthly indicator report. If you want to deep dive into the 15-page report talking about market trends, Miss Analytical Scientist, we can do that here for attached, detached residential units. But it gives us things to talk about. It gives us things to present and do. Are there any questions on this? Okay. I want to show you one other thing regarding Faststats. Back here at Infosparks. Here in Infosparks, we do have access to a choice here at the top right side on this dark blue bar called Faststats. We click on the Faststats choice here. We do have access to the monthly indicator report and the local market update report, except we notice here we're looking at the entire state of California. We can actually take it by regions. So the OC Faststats mostly focuses on Orange County. Here, Faststats in Infosparks focuses on California. Now, what I love about this is, are we in northern, central, mid-southern, or southern California? Southern. Now, what I love about this, remember how I was saying we're a microclimate? Look how big Orange County is compared to all the other counties and around us, right? Now, if I wanted to, I could again simply click on where it says Orange County and look at that one-page report. In this case, they do separate single family to condo versus the OC Faststats of attached versus detached, okay? So your numbers are slightly a little different because they're now mixing single family attached and single family detached with condo attached and condo detached. So your numbers are still a little different. I'm still amazed that a condo is going for $750,000 as a median sales price. How do you get into a starter property as a first time homeowner? Kind of amazing. Now I'm dating myself here. Back when I moved from Virginia back in 97, which was, God, what, 30 years ago, practically. Now in Virginia, condos were getting in, oh, I got a condo. That was like $15,000. When I first moved out here, I was amazed at $40,000 to $60,000 for a condo. I can't imagine owning or being able to own today on top of the HOA craziness. But those are fun things that we get to look at. Now, what we could also do is look at the other counties too, like San Bernardino, Riverside. Again, we can look at that comparison. $599 for a single family. So if I wanted to move out to Riverside County versus Orange County, I can definitely buy something almost all cash. Exactly. And the gas prices and everything like that, what I got in equity sitting in my bank reserves now get eaten up by gas prices. Exactly. Here's a free tanker that you can siphon your gas for, or let's get you some solar powered cells to cart on your car.
And then have a home stay in Corona in your back.
Exactly. And of course, talking about the electric bills and all that fun stuff. But we can do that. Now, from here, we also have the monthly indicator report. Now, the monthly indicator reports here break it down into the individual associations, because each association likes to brand their own 15-page report. Now, what I like about this is that I could look at, say, Northern California region to look at this beautiful 15-page report of what's happening in Northern California, which amazingly enough, all properties are down almost 15%, whereas we're up, right? 34, almost 35% in homes for sale. That's kind of amazing to me. So something's happening up there. They're leaving. They're escaping. But we can do all that. So we can have fun accessing this data, doing what we need to market. You're a California realtor. You can buy and sell anywhere in California that you choose. even though you're here in Orange County, have access to the largest database of MLS data in the entire United States, you can still go anywhere you want.
We have the whole state.
We don't have the whole state of all the MLSs. I think there's still like 41 different MLS systems. Not all of them data share with CRMLS. Like Big Bear doesn't data share. They're a small community that just really like to be isolated. So, but it doesn't mean that you can't go in there and list a property. You're, again, a licensed Californian agent.
We'll get a partner with somebody else to get the MLS.
True, true, but nowadays with data, the way it is on the internet, MLSs have to be really, really careful about that. Which is why CRMLS is like, let's put all of our listings out there, let's all work together, because people are getting access to that data, and there's a demand for it. But that's a whole nother conversation. Are there any questions on any of this? Now, if you were marketing in a particular area like neighborhood, 300 or 400 homes, there is a choice here in Infosparks called My Areas. So here, let me move that bar. Next to Faststats called My Areas. Now, My Areas allow you to outline your neighborhoods to get neighborhood statistics. But again, gotta be careful, because if there's not a lot of activity, say last year to this year, you get 1 or 2 listings, now all of a sudden the data can be really super off. But you could essentially simply Irvine, California. Here, I'm going to zoom in to my area. Whoops. Zoom into my neighborhood. Hopefully, if I can get to my neighborhood, I can outline it with just basically like a polygon. So if I know my street boundaries of that track, I could just outline it, right? Now what I'm going to do, come on. From here, oh, come on. I'm using my touch mouse versus my regular mouse. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, save this information, and I'm going to name it. So you would name it the track, right? The quail track, or yeah, let's just call it the oops track. Okay. Now, when I hit save, what's going to happen is it's going to analyze that area. It's going to say, you've got access to more than 15,000 listings, 7.5 square miles. Great. Now I'm going to close this out. So now when I'm back in Infosparks, when I go over to that top, or go to where it says entire MLS and I click on that down arrow, there is a choice here called My Areas. Now this will give me access to all my created drawn mapped areas, one of which is the oops track. And now with my oops track, it's going to analyze that data. And now we've got information based on my track. And that's from my area. So here I can outline certain things. I can now talk about certain things, up 34% out of 1,060,000 in this particular area, blah, 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 blah. And again, have more content to talk.
Nope.
All right. Are there any other questions? I know I'm like way ahead.
No,
So-
go away. We want to get on there.
No other questions at all? All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for attending today. If you do have any questions, feel free to give me a call or email me.
Yes.
You're welcome. And if you need my email or phone number, my phone number is 949-586-6800, extension 104, 586-6800, extension 104, or email me at Tony, TONY, at ocrealtors.org. Other than that, have fun today. Hopefully I'll get to see you this afternoon for Realtor, creating property websites.
Be there.
Woohoo. Thank you. Bye, everybody.